We're looking at the final Div 1 ICT 2008 Maryland versus Chicago. Chicago featuring Seth Cannon,
not just like the nuts
David versus some dude from Maryland, Chris Ray, Charles Miggs, and somebody else, Jonathan Megan.
Andrea Del Castano painted its author holding a book, while Sandro Botticelli painted 4 frescoes from it featuring Nastasio degli Onesti. John William Waterhouse painted a tale from it that shows 3 men and 6 women, leaving 1 woman unaccounted for. That's right for 10. The maximum possible density for uniform spheres can be achieved in 2 ways. For 5 each, named as 2 configurations, each of which is seen in a standard state of 1 or more chemical elements. Captain, your answer. Hexagonal closed packed and face-centered cubic. For 10 points, both HCP and FCC structures have what coordination number?
6, 4, 6.
Answer, 12. For 10 points, rounded to the nearest percent, and within 2, what percent of space is filled in either arrangement? The exact numerical value is also acceptable.
About like
10. Answer. At 74%, you get no points in the bonus. Toss of 2. This nation's Albanese Oil Company receives cheap supplies from Venezuela. In December 2007, Iran announced plans to help it build a deepwater port at Monkey Point along with a dry canal extending west. The candidate who won its November 2006 presidential election supports a full canal between the Atlantic and Pacific. Daniel Ortega has led...
Nicaragua.
That's right for 10, your bonus. At the end of the novel, Humphrey and Maude are rescued from the island to which they swam after the wreck of their ship. For 10 each, named as 1904 novel. Answer.
No answer.
The Sea Wolf. Who wrote The Sea Wolf?
Jack London.
Yes, this is the schooner of which Wolf Larsen is captain. Answer.
The Flying Tube.
The Ghost, you get 10. Toss-up. It is thought that a failure in this process leads to Kuru in humans and Scrapie in sheep due to the creation of prions. It's the subject of the largest distributed computing project in the world, which hopes to understand how partial changes, hydrogen bonds, and hydrophobic regions induce a specific 3-dimensional conformation. For 10 points, name this process.
Protein folding.
That's right for 10. Your bonus.
Good job.
He became district attorney for Washington, D.C. in 1833 and prosecuted Richard Lawrence after Lawrence tried to assassinate President Jackson. For 10 each, name this political figure, better known for something stemming from an attempt to rescue William Beans.
Attempt to rescue William Bean.
Answer. Francis Scott Key. While Key was working to obtain the release of Dr. Beans, he observed the bombardment of this fort in Baltimore Harbor.
McHenry.
Yes. In 1832, Key served as this man's attorney when he was tried in the House for beating William Stanberry, an Ohio representative.
Okay, so no, it's way too
Captain. That's no answer. It's Sam Houston. You get 10. Toss-up. E.W. Wynkoop tried to prevent this incident, but he was replaced by Major Scott Anthony, who ordered a village to move 40 miles away from Fort Lyon. George Bent was wounded in the hip, while White Antelope was shot dead. Kill and scalp all, big and little. Knits make lights was the instruction issued by John Chivington. But
Sand Creek.
that's right for 10. Your bonus. For 10 points each, name these European streets. Known in France as the most beautiful avenue in the world, it stretches from the Place de la Concorde to the Arc de Triomphe.
Champs-Élysées.
Yes. In Berlin, this boulevard runs from Brandenburg Gate to where the Imperial Palace was. Its name comes from the trees that shade the walkway.
So something Strasse, like what's a word for like tree?
Answer.
Strasse?
It's Unter den Linden. In Moscow, the headquarters of the former KGB is found on this street.
Fuck, I've been to Moscow.
Answer. No answer, it's Lubyanka. You get 10 on the bonus. Toss-up. He wears Italian suits, loves Rossini, and has a giant espresso machine in his apartment where he lives with his Asian lover, Nikki. Power, your bonus. For 10 points each, give the following about recent happenings in New York museums. In 2007, the Greek and Roman galleries of this museum were expanded. The Egyptian wing contains the Temple of Dender. Answer.
Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Yes. In January 2008, this longtime Met director announced his imminent retirement. Montebello. Carmen Giannino's Antea is currently exhibited at this museum at 5th Avenue and 70th Street, named for a business partner of Andrew Carnegie. Answer.
Melon.
No, it's Frick. You get 10 on the bonus. Toss-up. Isla Tortuga, a shield volcano, formed in this body of water during the last 12,000 years. The Fuerte, Mayo, and Yaqui rivers flow into it, and its other islands include Isla Ángel de la Guarda and Isla del Tiburón. A narrow 750-mile-long peninsula to its west bounds this gulf that borders Sinaloa and Sonora.
It's the Sea of Cortez.
I can accept that for 10, yes. For 10 points each, name these materials used in energy-efficient windows. Almost all such windows are made from this polymerized form of ethylene, also used for house siding.
This science.
Answer.
No answer.
It's PVC. Double-glazed windows are commonly filled with this gas that forms the bulk of the industry's so-called trigon mixture.
Argon. That's a gas. Argon.
Yes, silver, zinc, and tin salt of this anion are used to provide a low-E coating that reflects long wavelength light. It's oxide or O2-, you get 10 on the bonus. Toss-up. A town of this name founded by Thucles was the first Greek colony on Sicily. In the 13th century, Marco Sinudo conquered the island of this name and made it a duchy. After its inhabitants overthrew Lake Damus in the 5th century BC, it dominated its area, including its neighbor Paros, as the chief island of the Cyclades. For 10 points, name its mythical birthplace of
Delos.
-5, Dionysus and site of Ariadne's abandonment. That's right, for 10, your bonus. His The City and the Pillar was one of the first overt depictions of homosexuality in American fiction. For 10 each, name his novelist whose other works include Duluth. Yes. Chronologically, the Dahl series of novels about American history begins with a book about this politician and killer. Yes. All of humanity save for the title character, his wife Lakshmi, and a few perfect masters are killed in this apocalyptic Vidal novel named for a 10th incarnation. 30 on the bonus. Next toss-up. This man ended the Spanish Inquisition due in part to his brother's struggles with Pius VII. During his rule, Venezuela declared independence, the first of Spain's New World colonies to do so. He was a nominal commander during the Peninsular War, but Marshal Ney insisted on verifying orders of his younger brother in Paris. For 10 points,
Joseph Bonaparte.
that's right, for 10, your bonus. It discusses the dependence effect and the concept of the conventional wisdom. For 10 each, name his 1958 book.
Affluent Society.
Yes, this Harvard economist wrote The Affluent Society.
Galbraith.
Yes, this one-time Harvard colleague of Galbraith extended his work on consumerism in The Overspent American.
I defer to John.
Okay, Juliet Shore, you get 20. Toss-up. The second stanza depicts a holy man whose weak spirit fails to think how others may ache in icy hoods and mails. Its protagonist convinces Angela to sneak him into the home of his beloved. But power, your bonus. One of the 7 crystal systems is a rectangular solid whose height, width, and length are pairwise unequal. For 10 each, name that crystal system.
I don't know, like, is this like the thing from Sonic the Hedgehog?
Answer. No answer, it's orthorhombic. Carbonate has an orthorhombic lattice. At room temperature, it slowly converts to calcite.
Limestone.
Aragonite. The orthorhombic system is compatible with 4 of these 14 infinite sets of points with discrete translational symmetries. Answer. Answer? Brevet lattice is no point. Cause of 10. Otto Fenichel wrote about the psychoanalytic theory of these conditions, suggesting they are caused by the demands of civilization. The tyranny of the should and the search for glory are discussed in a book about the struggle towards self-realization, whose title mentions them and human growth.
Psychology?
-5. 10 points. Name is mental disorder discussed by Karen Horney that does not impair rational thought, unlike a psychosis. Yes, for 10, your bonus. In 1622, the final installment of a 30,000-line pornographical description of England and Wales appeared. For 10 each, name is Epic by Michael Drayton.
Good guy.
Yes, Drayton's other works include a long poem in Alteba Rima about this battle fought on St. Crispin's Day. Yes, the narrator of this Borges story says that while he has never read Drayton's Polyalbion, he's sure it's less boring than Carlos Argentino Daenerys' epic The Earth.
The apple.
30 points in the bonus. Toss-up. This composer's poem in October is part of a trilogy based on Dylan Thomas. His other works include the 1970 rock opera Naked Carmen, the chaconne of Rage and Remembrance, and the quartet Come My Darling in his opera The Ghosts of Versailles. His first symphony was inspired by his friends who had died of AIDS. For 10 points, name this American composer. Did I get in or not? Okay, didn't know. Huh? So definitely no. Okay.
So I have a 105 to 125. So I have to
John Corigliano.
Chicago's clearly converting more bonus points.
Instant analysis.
Yeah, so at this point, we got Chicago. Enter less toss-ups, but definitely getting 30s on the bonuses. Very key.
The question is, are maybe getting easier bonuses?
I really like this fact. A lot of the category has been covered in this first half. I think they're going to win this.
Really?
I would have gotten Naxos.
These are hard.
No, Nicaragua, Maxwell.
Protein folding and Naxos.
Protein folding was transparent from the beginning.
Oh wait, do you want to check your vote? You're cool? Okay. You guys good? We're going to toss up 12. And here we go. Barry Stroud's The Quest for Reality discusses the metaphysics of this concept. The illusion theory is that they aren't really found in nature, while the simple objectivist theory of PMS Hacker asserts their intrinsic properties. They were called secondary qualities by John Locke. Goethe thought his... That's right, for 10, your bonus. For 10, each name is Army Air Force officers from World War II. This lieutenant colonel led a 1942 raid that bombed Honshu. 15 of the 16 B-25s managed to crash land in China. Yes, this colonel dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima from the Enola Gay. Answer, Tibbets. Despite resigning from the military in 1941, this man led the Flying Tigers of the first American volunteer group that guarded the Burma Road. Chenault, you get 10 on the bonus. Toss-up. After the death of Henry Baldwin, this Democrat declined a Supreme Court nomination. He had succeeded John Randolph as ambassador to Russia and would replace John C. Calhoun as Secretary of State.
Buchanan.
Power, your bonus.
Good job.
In its first season, Celia Hodes, the head of Agrestics PTA, revealed she had breast cancer. For 10 each in this TV series centering on the Botlins.
Weeds.
Yes. The part of Nancy Botlin's dead husband, Judah, was played by this actor, who's slated to play the comedian in the film version of Watchmen.
Just Buchanan for dating Ernest Parker.
Answer.
Nielsen.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Morgan also appeared as this millionaire who died before he could marry Izzy on Grey's Anatomy.
Man, like, where's our girl?
Denny, you get 10. Toss-up. A narrator named Julie denounces her father Wendell in this author's mock Elizabethan novel, Rider. Evangeline Musset is the central figure of this author's fictionalization of lesbian life in Paris, Lady's Almanac. In addition to the verse drama The Antiphon, she wrote a novel about Matthew O'Connor and Robin Vogt that was edited by
Barnes.
10, and your bonus.
Good job, Dave.
For 10 was 18 Shakespearean actors. This leading actor at the Globe was the first to portray Hamlet, Romeo, and Henry V.
So like Burbage, you want to say? Burbage?
Yes, this actor and playwright who starred in an adaptation of Richard III, including many lines by himself, was named Poet Laureate in 1730.
This is Sibber.
Sibber.
Yes, from 1782 to 1812, the subject of a Joshua Reynolds work was the most famous actress on the English stage and was best known for playing Lady Macbeth.
Saracen.
You get 30. Toss-up. This country's granitic islands lie on a namesake bank and are fragments of Gondwana, as opposed to its outer or Coraline Islands. The 5 floors on its flag all meet in the lower left corner, and its
This is the Seychelles.
power, your bonus. For 10 each, give the following about an African kingdom. Founded by Soninke, this kingdom existed between the Senegal and Niger rivers between AD 200 and 1075.
So
Let's go.
what?
I think it is.
Yes. Although this Muslim group campaigned mainly in Spain and North Africa, it also declared a jihad against Ghana after its trading post at Ogogost was captured. It was succeeded by the Almohads.
Almoravids.
Yes. This Ghana capital in modern Mauritania is composed of separate wooden and stone towns. You get 30. Toss-up. One of them is said to be neither sweet nor sincere and a tidal weight of tarantulas in a song by the future Bible heroes. The first track on a 1990 Concrete Blonde album describes one of them and refers to a crack in the mirror and a bloodstain on the bed. A band known for songs like Mansard Roof is named for their Weekend. Yes, for 10. Your bonus. A 1922 experiment involved shooting silver atoms through an inhomogeneous magnetic field to see if they possess intrinsic angular momentum. For 10 each, name that experiment that recorded... Yes. Instead of a continuous band, Stern and Gerlach observed this many discrete regions on the target.
2.
Yes. The atoms were deflected because their orbiting electrons acted as these tiny current loops.
Magnetic dipoles.
30. Toss-up. For crystalline insulators, this property is modeled at low temperatures by the idea of phonons in a box that predicts a temperature cube dependence. Power, your bonus. For 10 each, name these people killed in Aeneas' final battle for the hand of Lavinia. This son of his ally, Evander, dies in single combat with the enemy.
Pallas.
Yes. This leader of the Rutulians killed Pallas. Aeneas was against... Yes. This Rutulian warrior maiden was killed by a Trojan spear thrust. She scours the plain and posts essay on criticism. 30 on the bonus. Toss-up. This man's temptations in moving to endorsements after retiring were chronicled in a 1970 article by Hunter S. Thompson. He's been an International Olympic Committee member since 1995 and co-chaired the Albertville Olympics in 1992, where the mountainside competition area was renamed for him. For 10 points, name this Frenchman who won the downhill, slalom, and giant slalom at the 1968 Winter Olympics in Grenoble. I'm sorry? No. No, it's Jean-Claude Killy. Toss-up. One ruler of this name was forced to retire after Bryennius' rebellion. Another was a caulker's son who banished John the orphan Atrophos. The first was known as Rangabe, and the third was a drunk who was dominated by his uncle Bardus. The eighth blinded John Lascaris. For 10 points, give this name shared by the founder of the Paleologan dynasty. 10, your bonus. For 10, he became the man associated with the creation of Brasilia. This president ordered the founding of the city in accordance with a constitutional mandate that the capital move to the interior.
Kubitschek.
Yes. The principal urban planner of the city was this disciple of Le Corbusier, who came up with the airplane-like design.
No, these other guys. It's the fucking Spanish.
Answer.
Niemeyer.
Costa.
Yeah.
This architect oversaw the competition in the urban planner and created the hyperboloid-shaped Cathedral Brasilia.
Niemeyer.
Yeah, you get 20. Toss-up. This prophet called the son of Baal to foretell Israel's conquest by Assyria. In the early chapters of the book named for him, he is said to be the father of Lo-Ami and Lo-Ruhamah. He divorced their mother, Gomer, whom he had met. 10. Your bonus. Britannians give the following about Joseph Radetzky von Radetz. As a colonel in this 1800 battle, Radetzky tried in vain to change the plan proposed by Malat and ended up taking 5 bullets.
So like 1800s, you want to say like maybe Marengo?
Answer.
Marengo.
Yes. Radetzky's greatest triumph came in this 1849 victory against Charles Albert's Piedmontese.
So is it Solferino or Magenta? I think it's Solferino. Well, I want to say Magenta. Magenta.
Novara. Radetzky was immortalized in a march by this Austrian composer who died in 1849.
Hi.
Strauss Sr., you get 10. Toss-up. In 1975, this former Goddard College student became host of a show on WCAU-FM. His books include All Things Censored. He himself was the target of a 2007 book by Michael Schmerkanisch and Maureen Faulkner. In March 2008, a federal appeals court granted him a new sentencing hearing for the 1981 murder of Daniel Faulkner, a Philadelphia police officer. For 10 points,
Kuma.
that's time, -5. Name this Devereaux Pausilev.
Mumia Al-Jabbar?
No, it's Mumia Abu Jamal. Next toss-up. This constant appears in the numerator of the constant factor of the A-ring equation and in both terms of the Sackur-Tetrode equation. It appears in the canonical partition function and has the same units as entropy. It gives the Yeah, 10. Pertemplation name these works by Edmund Spencer. It was intended to have one book for each of Aristotle's 12 virtues, but only 6 were finished.
Very clean.
Yes. Colin Cloud, who represents Spencer, provides the first and last of the 12 eclogues.
Calendar.
Yes, these 2 poems, first published a decade after Spencer died, are now believed to have been part of a lost book of the Fairy Queen. 2 canons of immutability, you get 20. Toss-up. This man wrote about an insurance agent named Emilio who falls in love with the deceitful Angiolina in As a Man Grows Older. Joyce's character Anna Olivia Floribel is based on this man's wife, whom Joyce met while teaching him English. The title character of his major novel is rejected by 2 sisters.
Spejo.
10. Your bonus. This man, for some of these named Guatemalan politicians. This opponent of the United Fruit Company was overthrown in a 1954 CIA-backed coup. Answer. Yes, this Quiche woman, the subject of an eponymous biography edited by Elizabeth Burgos de Bray, ran for president of Guatemala in 2007.
Yes, I know. Why was that?
Answer. Yes, this 19th century liberal introduced telegraph lines, railroads, and public education. He died fighting to unite Guatemala with El Salvador and Honduras. Answer. 30 on the bonus. Time out.
I have a 240 to 320.
Just like 42 seconds left. Is that correct?
We'll give him 2 more times. Yes, thank you. 644. They're 3 times. Okay, are you guys good? Yeah. All right, you guys cool? All right, we'll wait like 2 seconds, then we'll start the clock. 24. Its 30th section imposes specific fines for calling a man a fox or hare, while its 13th specifies that the fine for rape is increased by 3 shillings if boats are used. It was formally abolished in 1830 by Charles IV's Pragmatic Sanction, and an earlier Pragmatic Sanction contravened its magnate on agnatic succession. 10, and your bonus. Just over 32 miles long and up to 3 miles wide, its features included the Narrows and Anthony's Nose, for 10 points each. Name this lake of New York Adirondacks.
So like it's like Lake George. Oh, Lake George.
Answer.
Lake George.
Yes. The Washute River drains Lake George into what larger lake to the north?
Okay. Poncho Tree like what?
Champlain.
Yeah.
What fort built on Lake George by Sir William Johnson and commanded by George Monroe figures in the Laps of the Mohicans?
So it's like not technically Fort Henry. Fort William Henry.
20 on the bonus. And that's the game.